Is it true that the story of the Bible originated from the Anunnaki? The oldest writings found in ancient Sumeria, now part of modern-day Iraq, are believed to predate the historical accounts written in the Bible. These writings, inscribed in cuneiform, detail how the world was created by human-like gods, including the Epic of Gilgamesh, which mentions the Great Flood. Some claim that this story was copied by the biblical account of Noah's Ark. It is said that this civilization possibly existed even before Adam and Eve. So let's come together and clarify the question. Did the Bible copy its stories from Sumerian tablets? And if you're ready, let's begin. The first question is, what is Sumeria? In ancient history, it means the land of civilized kings, and it covers the area that includes parts of Kuwait along the Persian Gulf and southern Iraq. Scientists believe that this is where modern civilization began because the world's first language was discovered here. Experts also say that the earliest city was established in Sumeria around 5400 BC, and ancient civilization thrived due to the Ubaid culture around 5000 BC. The first written language was inscribed around 3600 BC. According to History.com, inscriptions or cuneiforms dating back to 4000 BC were unearthed in the area, and buildings dating back to 5200 BC were also found. However, many people ask, how did scientists determine the age of the artifacts that were excavated? It's simple. According to National Geographic, radiocarbon dating is used because it is the most common method to examine hardened wood, stone markers, or burnt tools based on the number of carbon atoms. Stratigraphy is also used, which is the study of soil layers, while thermoluminescence dating analyzes materials using heat from the sun, and dendrochronology examines tree remains to determine their age. If the age of stones, soil, or dried plants in the environment can be measured, these serve as the basis for estimating the age of artifacts found in the area. Thus, archaeologists concluded that the writings in Sumeria were made more than 7,000 years ago because the clay and stones used were analyzed. Now the question is, what was inscribed on these Sumerian tablets? Well, listen carefully. According to ancient literature, it was inscribed that a family of gods created all of humanity to work upon the earth. The two gods, children of Anu, Ninki and Enki, were mentioned, along with the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the earliest epics ever recorded. In the story of the godlike man Gilgamesh, a global flood was narrated, which wiped out the world, leaving only a being named Utnapishtim, who was saved aboard a massive ship. If what the scriptures claim is true, how were they read by experts? This is because the inscriptions are one of the ancient languages of the Middle East, meaning they used figure-like characters or symbols, some of which are still in use today. Today, the process of text comparison is used to analyze letters or symbols used in modern times to determine their meaning in ancient times. However, in the present day, Assyriologists utilize computer programs to speed up the resolution of Sumerian mythologies such as the Epic of Gilgamesh. As a result, experts were thrilled with these discoveries, though religious scholars were concerned about the story. Because if the findings in Sumeria are more than 1,000 years older than the creation of Eve and Adam, does this imply that the Sumerian texts came before what was written in the Bible? This has led many to suspect that the writers of the Bible may have copied what was unearthed in Iraq. How many years have passed since the time of Adam and Eve? If we trace back the years from the biblical accounts, which I also believe in, starting from the birth of Jesus on earth in the first year of the Common Era, and going back to the rebuilding of the Jewish temple around 530 BC, the destruction of the temple around 580 BC, Isaiah's prophecy in 740 BC, the reign of Solomon in 970 BC, the crossing of the Red Sea in 1400 BC, the selling of Joseph into Egypt around 1900 BC. the birth of Abraham in 2100 BC, the Great Flood around 2400 BC, and about 2,000 years before that was the creation of Adam and Eve. According to scholars, if we summarize the age of the world based on what is written in the Bible, it is estimated to be approximately 6,000 years old, which contrasts with the discoveries in Mesopotamia, which are over 7,000 years old. This has caused confusion for many. So, the age-old question is, how did this happen? Well, listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you. In the 1850s, when hundreds of thousands of cuneiforms were unearthed, many began to doubt the Bible. While experts' findings about the Sumerian texts were accurate, there was one angle they overlooked. If you think about it carefully, the methods scientists use, such as carbon dating, dendrochronology, thermoluminescence dating, and stratigraphy, you'll notice that it's not the inscriptions themselves being measured, but rather the materials used to make them, such as the dried plants, the age of the stones, and the type of soil. Because the inscriptions cannot be directly dated unless the stone or clay used in the carvings is measured. It's possible that the soil, stones, and dried plants used may have existed before Adam and Eve, but the inscriptions themselves could be much more recent. Take, for example, the Voynich manuscript. The pages were dated to determine when it was written using the same methods, and so it was said to have originated in the 15th century because the exact year of its writing could not be determined. This is similar to paleontology, where experts analyze the environment, such as dried plants and soil age, around the dinosaur fossils to estimate when they lived. This is why they refer to periods like the Cretaceous, Triassic, and Jurassic, rather than pinpointing an exact year. It's possible that the stones used for the Sumerian tablets are over 7,000 years old, but the carvings themselves might not be that ancient. That's why scientists don't declare exact dates, as the methods used in scientific analysis have limitations. So how did the Sumerians come to tell the story of a global flood? Well, the answer is quite simple. According to the Jewish library, Nineveh, part of Mesopotamia in modern-day Iraq, was established under the leadership of Nimrod. In Genesis chapter 10, verse 8, it mentions that Nimrod, the son of Cush, was one of Noah's great-grandsons. In verse 11, it is stated that he went to Assyria to establish Nineveh in the lands of Sumeria. This is how the ancient people of Mesopotamia came to know about the global flood, as it was none other than a relative of Noah who founded it. Therefore, it's no surprise that the story of the Sumerians included the global flood, as well as the creation of the world. Although it has been stated that the Sumerian tablets are older than Adam and Eve, this does not mean that the stories inscribed on them are as ancient as the stones they were carved from. Therefore, if you were to ask me, I would say that the scientific methods used to determine the exact dates of the Sumerian narratives are limited. Perhaps one day, with more advanced technology, further insights will be gained into the mysteries of the Sumerian tablets. What's your opinion in our video today? Comment down below.